Hi guys, Aceface back with another video for you, and today I want to talk about a very special event that I've just been to, and at the end of the video I'm going to talk a little bit about how, when you've seen what I've got to show you, how you can be involved in events like this coming up in the very near future. So, weekend before last, I was very fortunate enough to be invited to the No Retreat 2 event, organised by SM Battle Reports. There will be a link to their Facebook page down below where you can check out all their content. They are the home for old school, fantastically produced written battle reports. There is nowhere else on the internet where you can get the quality of written battle report that these guys do. They only use beautiful armies, beautiful terrain, really well written with lots of fantastic narrative. So do check these guys out anyway, even if you're not interested in everything else that I say. Do check them out. They do an amazing job and well worth taking a look. So I was invited over, and the event itself was in Gibraltar. Absolutely beautiful place to go to, fantastic. Hopefully when I'm speaking to you, you'll start to see a few pictures popping up and here and there. So you'll be seeing some of the pictures of how beautiful Gibraltar is. Absolutely stunning. We got there, it was absolutely lovely weather, so that obviously that helps as well. So the event was in Gibraltar. It was a 2-day event, 40,000, Warhammer 40,000. 1750 points rather than the 1850 points, which makes you think a little bit more about your army composition. Also a much more restrictive army build than a lot of competitions use, and that again made for a really interesting tournament with lots of diverse different types of armies, lots of different play styles, but a real emphasis on the kind of narrative fluff driven army build. So one faction only, you know, with the exception of a few factions that you'd expect to see together, Harlequins with Eldar, Cult Gene Stealers with Tyranids, that type of thing, but within reason everything was single faction, which really made beautifully looking armies. So that was kind of the format for it. It was ITC as well, the format that I love, as you well know. So yeah, so that was the tournament. We got over to Gibraltar, met up with a few of the other guys. There's a lot of really cool people that were involved in the event. The SM team in itself are just a phenomenal bunch of lads. You know, they really know their stuff. They're invested a lot of time and effort on making their tournament absolutely stand above any, and I would say that that's the case. There is nowhere else you're going to get this type of tournament. It is spectacular. So we got there, caught up with the guys, put our armies in. One of the beautiful things about this tournament is it's actually in a hotel, in a retreat. Because of that, it meant that you can kind of check in your armies and chill out, play ball games, watch TV, have a talk to other people playing in the event. Really made for that chilled out, fantastic atmosphere that you want on a Friday when you start at a tournament. It's what I love most. So you kind of got there, chilled out, put all your armies in, go and grab something to eat. There's some lovely restaurants and bars, real great social place to be. Because it's that kind of Mediterranean sort of Spanish kind of theme to it, you get that fantastic thing of, you know, everyone eats late, drinks late, so it's a real kind of party atmosphere, I suppose, on that Friday night to get yourself in the mood for a chilled out, fantastic weekend. Saturday came. And on the Saturday, obviously, as I spoke in previous, I was taking obviously my Gene Stealer cult with my Tyranids. There, you can see on the screen now a picture of the army, but basically in a nutshell it was the Genestealer cult formation with 3 Flyrants with their normal twin link devourers. I had a Morlock, I had some Biovores, and some Mucilid spores, and that was more or less my list. Quite a fun, fluffy list, relatively competitive. I had a Malanthrope as well, mustn't forget the Malanthrope. Relatively competitive, but not up to high performance type army, but fun. So that was my list. Really fantastic thing that Stephen from SN Battle Reports, he drew your opponent sort of a week or 2 before, so you could kind of get in the feel for it. I knew what I was up against. I knew who I was playing. So my first game was against Tristan from Siege Studios. Absolute delight to play Tristan. We've had a couple of games before in a doubles format, but it was nice to play Tristan on his own, and to play against his Space Wolves, which are phenomenally beautifully painted. Really fun, great to see. We played on a beautiful board. So the first game went, obviously this is a modified Maelstrom style game. It's a 2-hour format is what you have. Now 2 hours is a little bit restricting, but it's easily achievable. You just have to get your mindset in, and potentially that was my first mistake in this tournament. So he played. It was a really good game. So I caused an awful lot of damage. The Biovores did fantastically well. The Flyrants really went to town on a lot of the Space Wolves. Took care of his flyers. He had the big Storm Wolf, as well as like loads of Wolven and Thunder Wolf. He had a very elite army, packed an enormous punch, very frightening, but something that I could deal with. So the game was kind of to and fro in. We were quite closely matched, I would say. Had a plan to play the long game, so Flyrants kind of went off, came back on again. Completely my fault, nothing down to Tristan at all. Neither of us slow played, but we really didn't keep an eye on the time, and we kind of got timed out. Because we got timed out, I had to do some real radical stuff to try and take the game. Florence came down, they got us sorted, and the rest was history. So we lost. So the Tyranids lost, but it was a very close fought game. A lot of fun. The second game I played against KDK. I played an awesome list. 3 Helldrakes, Bloodthirster, Soul Grinder. Absolutely epically fun list. So it was, again, it was quite a close game. A lot of fun with the infiltrating Genestealers, managing to get in his lines early, take care of a few smaller units, attract some of the attention. And the Flyrants were absolutely amazing at dealing with his Helldrakes. They really did the business. Again, just trying to tactically approach it. I didn't want those Helldrakes to be vector striking me, so we had to play it clever. But we kind of got the better of him and managed to take that one for the win. So that was the second game. So got it back together again. In the third game, very interesting game. So my third game, I played an Elder Corsairs. I can never say it. Corsairs list. Really interesting, extremely good. This list was epically powerful. So I still don't know the intricacies of this type of list, but basically had these real elite units of the Elder Jump guys from the list, who could all do this very crafty, once they've shot, run away malarkey, lots of shenanigans, which made them really difficult to get rid of. And on top of that, on each of his little units, he had one guy with the 2-up Invon save, which obviously once it goes, you lose it. But he was sitting at the front, obviously able to tank. He had 2 of the full draw flyers, really strong, powerful flyers, and some other bits and pieces. He had 2 of the Warp Hunters, the D barrage tanks. So incredibly powerful army. Definitely an army that could factor, right up the top of a tournament, could win a tournament. Had all the tools to do the job. I got incredibly lucky. I got first turn, I deployed very aggressively. He null deployed because he didn't want me to wreck his nice stuff first turn, which was, you know, ended up being his downfall, but it was done for the right reason. So it was Julian I played, by the way. He was one of the SN Battle Report guys and fantastic gentleman. We had a great fun game. He had all the bad luck. And he took it like a true gent. He wasn't bothered, he just dealt with it, and we had a laugh playing the game. So I pretty much wrecked him. He had very little left at the end of the game. It was more or less a table-in, but he had his 2 flyers that kind of came on very late in the game, and they kind of survived it out. But that was a whitewash, so the Tyranids took that, which I was really chuffed with, because that was a real high-powered army against my very, very underdog army, and that was a huge achievement. Absolutely fantastic. So that was the end of the Thursday. Saturday night for myself and the members of my sort of gaming club, it's always drink night. So we went out, we went partying, and this is where it's such a fantastic place. Casinos, clubs, bars, everything. Fantastically good value for money. So yeah, so we got wrecked. And you'll probably be seeing now a picture of what I look like on the Sunday morning. Yeah, not in a great place, but that's standard for me, Sunday gaming. I always think it's important, ultimately, which is potentially why I don't do it as well as some people in tournaments. I like to play hard, but also really play hard in the evenings. So I was feeling it a little bit Sunday morning. So my first game on the Sunday, I played against Eldar again. This time I played against a lot more of a conventional Elder army, all the Wraith constructs. So it was a vicious army, potentially not as optimised as it could be, but that's kind of what you get in this style of tournament, which is lovely because it's a very fluffy build. So he had a Wraith Knight, ultimately powerful because it was ITC. He had his sword and board, which you'd expect. He had 2 units of Wraith Guard, both with the D cannons rather than the D scythe, which again you don't see as much. But keeps the price down. Still very nasty unit. Both of them were in Wave Serpents. He had another Wave Serpent with Die Avengers, so closer to more of the old 6th edition Wave Serpent spam, which obviously you don't see as much because generally scat packs you don't see as much. And then he had some Swooping Hawks. He had a little Guardian unit with you know, with warlocks and all sorts. So it was a really good list, nice rounded. Didn't have a massive amount of anti-air, probably was his biggest problem. But again, I got extremely lucky. I got first turn, and I was able to infiltrate 3 units basically, on top of the rest of the stuff that did infiltrate. So I infiltrated the Flyrants, who then flew over the top of his transports, blowing up one, making the other jink. And then he really struggled to deal with them afterwards. So I pretty much caused an awful lot of trouble with that. And in the end he was left with just the Wraith Knight, and I invisibilitied my Morlock to be able to kind of take him on and stay alive as long as I didn't get stomped. So again, another whitewash, which, you know, fantastic. So he got 3 wins in a row and 3 good wins. That brought me into the last game. So as it stood at the last game, I was on 2nd top points. So I went into the last game with an opportunity to win the tournament with a good win. I needed a good win because of the other tables that would be around, that if they got a good win then they would go above me, and top player was on a few more points. So I needed a good win, I needed a convincing win, but with a convincing win I would have taken the title with my Tyranids. So I was in a really happy place. I'd got over my hangover and I was ready for the game. And then what happened? I drew this fella. Yep, we all know him, we love him. Lawrence, TableTop Tactics. Obviously, we've played a couple of times before. Our games are always full of fun and banter, and this was no exception. It was the final of a tournament, but that didn't stop us from bantering from the minute we saw that we were drew together to the end of the game. So yeah, it was an awesome game. We've played each other enough, and we knew each other's lists well enough because we talked about the lists in depth before the tournament. So we knew our lists pretty well, and we knew that this game would potentially go down to the roll of a dice of who got first turn. My Alpha Strike probably would have obliterated enough of his army to stop him from being able to take that game, and his would be the same, more or less. So it was all going to be down to that roll, and unfortunately I did not get that roll. Lawrence won the roll off, he got first turn. Few other things went wrong for me. I didn't get any psychic powers that would be really useful for me. I also I tried to charge his Corpse Thief with my acolytes with all their rending attacks and re-rolling to hit because of Zealot from the first round, and I really fluffed my to wound. I think I should have killed a lot more of his big dirty Death Star unit from there, but I didn't, and then he overrode me there. And then vitally, by this point the game was not really going my way anyway, but then I forgot my reserves on turn 2, which was really stupid, amateur error, but you know, not Lawrence's fault, not my fault, we both forgot. So the Morlock and the Mucilid Spores didn't come in, which potentially could have caused an awful lot of trouble last couple of turns. And the game was a whitewash, so Dark Elder took it, and ultimately Lawrence took the tournament. So, you know, well done to Lawrence. Again, it's nice to see an underdog army taking top prize, so that was really good. But I was chuffed to bits that we factored so heavily. In the end, it knocked us, because it was a whitewash defeat, it knocked us down to 8th place. But you know, it's not about that. When you're on top table for the last game, you've always got to be prepared to go big or go home, because you know that the tables around you, unless it's 2 players that ultimately beat everybody, when it's quite close on a lot of games and you've got a lot of other people that are winning quite a lot of their games, you generally know that it's go big, go home. You win the whole thing. You lose, and potentially you go down the pecking quite a bit, and that's what happened, and that's fine. It's no problem. It's not all about that, and it was great for the Tyranids to be on top table at the end of the game. Absolutely awesome. So that was a tournament. Fantastic. Went out in the evening, had a laugh. I had a game with Stephen from SM Battle Reports. That will be on the channel in the next few days. Really, really fun game. And to give you a little bit of a spoiler, the closest game that the channel has ever seen. So don't miss out on that one. So that's that tournament. That's gone. That's finished. It's in the bag. So what's coming up? So the SM Battle Reports team have just announced that they will definitely be doing a No Retreat 3. And they've just put up a post that you can apply to be involved in this tournament. Now, when you get this message, please, 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 if you're interested in it, go and apply. Because not only is it the best tournament that I have ever played in, it is epically, amazingly fun, and one not to be missed. So if you're interested, go and apply for it. You'll need to give them your email address, and you'll also need to post some pictures of your army, because they are looking for armies that look beautiful on their beautiful tables. So let them know a little bit about yourself, why you want to be involved, show them your army, and then cross your fingers and hope for the best, because this tournament will be something that you will remember all your wargaming career, because it is out of this world. It is more than an event, it is an experience, and one you will not forget. So don't miss out on it. If you're from the UK, I can assure you, from a monetary point of view, it's actually very, very reasonable to arrange to get out there, to stay and to play in the event. It's not that expensive. It's well worth every penny you pay for it. So don't miss out. Don't miss out at all. And thank you very much for watching this video and come with me on this short journey. So thanks guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.